Hello and welcome everybody. We're going to talk about the network today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Haven't been a lot of downtime, I hope. So, welcome. My name is Daniel Husand. I'm Chief of TechNet, our network crew here at The Gathering. So, today we're going to talk about this year's network, our edge, our core, and some of our special applications that's called MDB and SIGCEL-NG. And we're going to talk about Ementor, which is my employer, which has a trainee program for those of you who want to start working with networks and other technical things. And we're going to have some Q&A afterwards if you have any questions about the network. So, what does TechNet do? We primarily design. We start about a month or two before the gathering to design the network. We try to get the best equipment from different sponsors and figure out how to make this work. That's always a challenge because there's always so much different equipment. There's never the same boxes twice. And after that, we start implementing. We usually come up here to the ship on Saturday before the gathering and start implementing the network. So we use 4 or 5 or 6 days to get it up and running. And after you all come here, we start to manage the network. That's basically a part of the troubleshooting, making sure you're all online or handling crisis when the network fails, which it hardly ever does. And other than that, we learn and we have lots and lots of fun. So I would recommend everyone who is interested to try and apply for TechNet, because it's great, believe me. So, TechNet 08. On the top, that's me, Daniel, Ior. Other members I have is Bård, rise up. Erlend, he's sleeping. Harald, also sleeping. We have Espen. Oh, lazy bums. We have Håvard. And Mats, who is also sleeping. As you sure know by now, we have lots and lots to do, except sleeping. So, our core boxes this year is two 6509, 6506 Cisco Catalyst boxes with Supervisor 720. These are high-end and will handle probably most of what you throw at them. They have a switching capacity of 720 gigabits per second. And if you compare that to our traffic in the network today, we have about 10 to 15 gigabits per second of traffic. So we are scaled to handle you and lots of more. Other than that, these boxes have gigabit and 10 gigabit interfaces to handle the aggregation of traffic from our edge switches. Because this year we have connected all our edge switches directly to the core boxes. Earlier years we have had lots and lots of distros connected in between the core and the edge switches to handle the load. But this year we were lucky enough to get big enough core switches to be able to connect you all directly to them for maximum performance. These boxes do routing on layer 3, which means they handle IP traffic, not Ethernet. Well, it's Ethernet, but they route on layer 3. And they also run our MDB, which we'll be talking about later. And they have the fiber uplinks to between each other, because we have 2 core boxes, and the fiber uplinks to NOC, where we are located, in the where the green light is, or red light. And our fiber uplinks to our Telegeve, which handles the internet connection. These all have dual power supplies to handle any power failure, which we've been quite lucky with this time. No major problems. So, what is new this year? Because we had these 6509 boxes before, so we opted to try something new this year. So we tried Cisco VSS 1440, which is a method of stacking 2 65 boxes to make them appear as one. We get one management interface with all our ports in them. So what we get is simplified management, redundancy, and load balancing. This is what we tried to use before the downtime. We'll get back on that topic later. Our edge switches are the old SIGSL switches that we've used for many years now, still working fine. So we have 5,000 plus client ports on them with 10/100 megabits for you, the users. And we have a 1 gigabit uplink to the core switch. On these we have simple management, web and telnet, and they do switching on layer 2, and they handle multicast. Knuta, welcome up. This is Knuta from TechServer, who is going to talk about SIGSL NG, which is
Hello? Okay, SIGSL NG is to configure the table switches. Earlier we need some configuration. This feels wrong. Hello? Okay. To enable management and multicast on the edge switches, we need to have some configuration. Earlier, we used to configure each switch manually. How many switches are there?
About 200 switches.
We have 200 switches, and we had to manage each manually before we could use them, which took a few minutes for each. So we need to dedicate like 5 people for ages to do this. And to change the switches, we had to reconfigure them if one failed. And basically, it was a pain. So we tried to create something that could automatically configure the switches for us. That was the SIGSL management software or whatever it was called at that time. This is the second generation or next generation, as the name suggests. Basically, it automatically configures the switch, so it can work optimally at TG. It allows us to monitor switch health, like the temperature, so we can save the switch before it really dies. We have had a few switches here which got close to 60 degrees hot because people put things in front of the fans and stuff. We can detect that on our temperature map thing, show up and cool the switch before it failed. It made us able to enable multicast, which is disabled by default, and it allows us to make pretty graphs. This is the basic design. When you get a SIGSL switch, it's configured with a static IP address and a standard password, just like your wireless AP or something. Like it comes with a 168 whatever 11 address, and you have to go to that address and to configure it. All our switches have the same address, which of course creates conflict, and really doesn't allow us to connect to it in any way. So what we do is that SIGSL NG connects to the core, and it creates a dedicated route to one of the switches, logs into it, and changes the IP. And then, after that, it just destroys the static route, and then creates another one to the next one, and so forth. So you have to communicate through the core switch. Actually, we use telnet through the core, and then back further through the switch again, using some pretty dirty hacks. After configuring the static IP, we can connect to the switch directly and do the rest of the configuration. So that sounds a lot more simple when you talk about it, doesn't it? Well, it's not.
And to add to that, another great point about using SIGSL NG is that if you replace a switch, instead of having to reconfigure it when we put out a new one, the script just does it automatically.
As a side note, we tried to use a different system this year, SIGSL 3G, but it kind of failed because of some unexpected problems. So basically, we rolled back to this stuff at 2 a.m. the morning before you showed up, and it started working. And it can only do one switch at a time because of this. So it starts going through them, and we were like, "Oh, please finish in time! Please finish in time!" And it finishes like 10 minutes past 9. I don't think anybody noticed.
Yes.
I think that's my stuff.
And there we have the Internet Gateway Router. This is a Cisco 6709, which is sponsored by VLAN. This handles all our communication with our ISP, which is Banetele. It runs BGP and EEGRP, which is our routing protocol internally in the network. And it has some access lists to protect us from the internet or the internet from us, depending on how you say it. This is our absolutely most critical box in the entire network, so it's defined as untouchable. It can't go down. It hasn't yet, I hope. It has redundant supervisors. It has redundant uplinks to the ISP. It has redundant PSUs, and it has UPS power, so it shouldn't fail. And this is our current design. So for the moment, we have 2 core boxes on the floor, Core 1 GV and Core 2 GV. These have a 20 gigabit uplink between them. And further down, we have an uplink from the Core 2 GV to TeleGV, which also is 20 gigabit. So it should be able to handle all your traffic without any problems. And the big new thing in this design is that we only have Core 1 and Core 2. Earlier years, we have had up to 7 or 8 boxes to handle the uplinks from the tabletop switches. So, what's the status today? I don't know, any of you, were you on TG05? Yeah, you probably remember that. We had red light for quite some time, so we just had to make a slide of this. That TG05 didn't work very well. 6 and 7, yeah, great. 8, well, the red lamp broke, so that's fine. And why does it work? We have great assistance from our other tech crews. We have tech server, this Knutta is a part of, which does a lot of the config generation for us. We make the template, and then they make all the configs for all the ports for us. We have SYXEL-NG, we have MBD, which we will talk about later. They configure DHCP, DNS, graphs, streaming, and they do a lot of software development. And we have tech support. Do we have anyone from tech support here? Rise up, come on. Hey! Which do all the cabling and troubleshooting and help the participants, and they give us lots and lots of hugs. So we like tech support. And the other reason that this works is that this isn't our first time using these devices and these configs. We have quite some experience, and we have reused lots of our designs from earlier years. And we, of course, have made lots and lots of planning. And other than that, our sponsors are great sponsors, which primarily is Cisco Systems. Our entire core network is Cisco Systems boxes, which have been sponsored by Cisco, Ementor, NTE, Bredbånd, and TLAN. Please, give them an applause. And it's back to Knutta.
Oh, well, I'm going to talk a bit about the system that allows you to browse LAN games throughout the entire network. Because anyone know how it happens when you press browse LAN games in like Counter-Strike or something? What basically happens is that your client says, "Hello, anyone got a game server?" And the server says, "Hello, I'm here." Unfortunately, your client can't speak that loud, so it only reaches your current switch, or your broadcast domain, as it is technically. So what we've done is that we've allowed like a little helper. So basically, your client screams, "Hello, anybody got a game server?" And then suddenly our little helper says, "Hello, someone's asking for a game server." And then this whisper goes up to our MBD server up there. Oops, sorry, feedback. And then our MBD server slightly rewrites the package, basically saying, this guy down here, he wants to know if there's a game server. And he sends this to everybody on the network. And then each game server receives this packet. And then the game server says, oh, I've got a game server, I want him to play. And then he just replies directly. This also sounds a bit more simple when you're talking about it. Why this works is that we have some special stuff in the core DB, which is actually designed to allow people to get addresses from DHCP, because DHCP is the same way. Basically, your computer says, "Hello, anybody got an IP address?" And then some DHCP server is supposed to say, "Oh yeah, take this one." The problem with this, is, of course, is that the multiple DHCP servers kind of creates a mess, because then it's the first one applying. This creates lots of trouble sometimes, but not this year, I think. We had a bit of trouble with it earlier. People getting wrong IP addresses, like 10.0.0.1, because someone has their access point configured wrongly, stuff like that. But it works the same way. So we use the same technology as DHCP is designed to do on large networks, with the forwarding and everything. That's how DHCP works in a large network. So we've just reused that technology, and well, actually we've abused that technology because it's not designed for gaming. It's just designed to forward one simple little port and nothing else. And well, that kind of bit us this year, because it doesn't scale to lots and lots of games and ports and stuff. So that's why we broke the network to begin with. We're really sorry.
Thank you, Knut. Downtime. I hope you didn't notice, but we did have some downtime, 2 or 3 hours. Hardly noticeable. And basically it was MBD overload. What happens was that we abused our switches. It's an ugly, ugly, ugly hack, which worked last year because we had 7 or more boxes which ran MDB, which could handle the load in a much more better way than one core box, which we started out with because we ran the VSS 1440 solution, which makes the 2 boxes appear as one. So the CPU load started rising, and there came more and more participants, and the CPU load rose some more, and some more, and some more. And suddenly I got a call when I was sleeping in my bed that the light is red. Get back here now. Oh, happy joy, joy. So, to try to figure this out, we desperately falled back to 2 cores. We separated the boxes, made them into 2 normal switches or routers instead of using VSS 1440, which did not solve the problem. So VSS was not the issue here, which we figured out later on when we removed the MDB and saw that the CPU usage dropped down dramatically. So it was a human error. It was our fault, or Knuta's fault. Anyhow, the solution was to limit the number of ports in MDB for each game, which has the consequence that you can only run 2 Half-Life servers on each PC. And oh noes. So everything is running fine now. MDB is working. The switches are on an average CPU load, no problems. So we should have a stable network for the rest of the party. Some statistics. Tonight, 2300, or last night, 2300, we had 80 terabits of network traffic going out. Terabyte of traffic going out of the ship, which is, yeah, quite a lot, but you can do better. Come on. We have 3 gigabits of network of internet uplink. Come on, use it. It's full, but come on, try harder. The upstream link is full all the time, as usual, and that's why we this year have a priority link for some traffic. I don't know if you have read my post on the forums about the priority link. Yeah. So a question for you: does it work? Okay, some people nodding, some people just shaking their heads, or no? Okay. Yeah, we've had quite some people being happy about being able to play World of Warcraft and other RTS-based games where you have to connect to external servers. If you play Counter-Strike, you can play it on LAN in here. But if you play World of Warcraft, you have to play it on the servers on the wide web. And if the outgoing link is full, well, you won't get a great experience. Hopefully we've solved this year. We have our weather map, which shows the network traffic load in our network. I don't know if you've seen it. We will be making a movie of this, a time lapse that will be made available. And as you see, we have 10 to 25% load in the network. So go ahead, leech some more. Except for internet links then, of course, which are quite full. Some facts. We have 410 cables for connecting our 200 edge switches to our core boxes, which have a total length of almost 10 kilometers. Our longest cable run is 88 meters, Ethernet, eller copper cable run. Our longest fiber run is 150 meters. And for the poor guys in tech support, they have drilled 1,728 new holes in the tables. And lines of configuration in the core network is over 10,000 lines. And in our that's why we have tech server, so we don't have to write everything by hand. And number of ports in our core switches is 342 gigabit ports, which are all non-blocking, so that they are wire speed. And we have 12 10 gigabit Ethernet ports. That's a lot and lots and lots of speed. So, I'm going to talk a little bit of Ementor's trainee program. These slides are in Norwegian. I have to apologize for that, but I didn't have time to get them into English. Ementor is my employer and board's employer, which is a huge sponsor of the gathering. We have a leading position, some marketing here. We have lots and lots of offices, and we work with technology. We work with Cisco, we work with Microsoft, and we work with we work with these guys. So if you are interested in working with networking or Microsoft or Tandberg and VMware or IBM or whatever, Ementor has a trainee program with which you can send an application to. The trainee program is for now based in Oslo, but there is possible that we will expand it into other cities on the map, primarily in Norway. And our potential candidates for this is, oh dear God. I need some help here. Yeah. Just read the slide. You understand? Yeah, you don't have to have more education than videregående, that's a good English word, to be able to apply. What? Yeah, oh yeah, thank you. You don't have to have more education than high school to be able to apply. If you want to be a technician, if you want to be a design or consultant or more than that, you need some more education, but feel free to apply. It lasts for 18 months, and of course you get paid. You get to work with me. That's great. And board. And you get to work with, you start out with working in all our different areas to figure out what you find funny or interesting. And then you decide where do I want to work, and you start working with our consultants out with customers. You get a great opportunity to get certified in the areas of your liking, and you get a coach that follows you through the whole program to keep you on the right track or on the wrong track. It depends on the coach, of course. And you get possibilities of running your own projects directly against our customers. So you are working with customers. This is not some school thing. You're working. It's a great thing. And that was that. So if you have any questions about the network, we're going to take questions now. Or you can send me an email, both about the trainee program if you want more information, or you can apply for it on the email trainee2008@mentor.no. And MDB, SyxLNG, this presentation and all our other software will be made available a couple of weeks after the party on that address. So if you want to run MDB and you want to screw up your network, go ahead. So, any questions? He asked if I could link that on the TG forum, and yes, I will link it. Yes, Knuta. Yeah, of course. We want as many people as possible to apply for the tech cruise. The page you apply at is called Wannabe. It's wannabe.gathering.org. Yeah. We always want more people in our cruise. This year, at least for TechNet, we have a lot of old guys coming back, but we have at least one new guy, which is a student, to get him up and running and get some fresh blood into the cruise. So always apply. You don't have to be an expert. The only thing you have to do is be interested, want to have fun, and learn things. You need to have some basic understanding of networking, but you don't have to be a world champion. So please, please, please apply. We need more of you. Oh, Sesse, come here.
Hi, my name is Steinar. I'm the tech server chief, which means that I've been going through the applications for tech server. And guys, when you apply, please, please, please remember that we don't know you at all. So if you write, hello, I'm 18 years old and I want to be part of the tech crew, it's impossible for me. I'm not kidding you. 50% of our applications is like that. There's no information whatsoever. I can Google you or anything, but if you write something about yourself, what you can do, what you have done, it's a lot simpler for us. We're not scary. The worst thing that can happen is that you don't get into the crew. But please write something. And if you can't even write correct Norwegian, I don't think you can write correct Perl. Sorry. So please get someone to look over it and spell check it.
Yes, Knuta. Yeah, Knuta can talk some more. But first, I have 3 iPods. And I have some stupid questions. I think I have some stupid questions. Hey, Mentor, can anyone say anything about what we do? Which companies do we work with? You, get down here. You, get down here. And another stupid question. How long was the total length of our cover network? That's cheating, you know? What did you say? Oh, you're so wrong. Sucker! Yeah, that's correct. Come down here. Now Knuta can talk some more.
I just wanted to talk something about how the tech crew separates, just so you know what to apply to and stuff when you're applying for the crew, which you of course will be doing. The TechNet crew is basically the ones who know networking. The tech server guys are the ones who know Unix and programming. So if you know networking, apply for TechNet. If you know programming, apply for tech server. If you know both, apply for both. Tech support does the technical support, stuff like that. Of course, also apply there. Preferably, you could apply for tech server and then TechNet and then tech support, because we talk more with the TechNet guys. Sorry. But what? If you're good with Counter-Strike servers and other game servers, apply for event game, because we don't do the game stuff. PHP, well, if you know good in PHP, you could of course apply for Intel Systems, which writes PHP. We write Perl, or you could learn Perl and apply for us.
So, are there any more questions for any of the tech crews? Yeah. He asks when you have to be available if you apply for one of the crews. Yeah, before the party. For TechNet, we start the Saturday before the party. Tech server, they start on Monday. Yeah, they start a lot earlier, and so do we, but we don't come here to the ship before. They then come here to the ship before Monday. We are here earlier, lots and lots of earlier. Yeah, okay, so if you can't come before Tuesday, that's no problem. And tech support? They come on Monday. Yeah. Just mention it in the application. No problem. We always have a solution or an ugly hack. Any more questions? Yeah. There is no age limit to applying to the tech crews. If you're really good at OpenTTD, you can of course apply, and you'll be my assistant, my personal assistant. Being female is also an obvious good reason. So yeah, there's a standing joke that the only thing we do up in the NOC is play OpenTTD, which you haven't done one single time this year, except for our organizer, which obviously doesn't do anything at all. Is it patched? Okay, OpenTTD later. Also, a funny story. We played it lots and lots last year, and we had the problem that the game stops. You have too many vehicles in game after playing it for 12 hours or 24 hours or whatever. So now it's patched, so we can have more vehicles. We can play it for weeks on end. So please apply. Yeah, 500,000 vehicles per player should be enough. Any more questions? Yeah? We have quite a special community up in our little cage up there, the monkey cage. We have, we have the tech crews, which are all seated there, except all of the tech support guys, because there's so many, but they're always up there talking to us. So we have great fun with both server and tech support. We have, it's great being here. It's so much fun. And we harass each other and we talk shit about each other, but everything is in good spirits. So it's great. It's great. It can't get any better. Please do apply. You're missing out. Yeah. Last year there was a web page which had an Arne countdown, so people could coordinate when shouting out Arne in the ship. We didn't like this, of course, so we had to replace it. Having control of both the DNS servers, the routers, and the switches and everything makes that quite easy. So last year we replaced that page with a countdown that goes the other way. So we started ticking upwards instead. That's one of the things we do. We don't have anything else to do, so. And I'm not going to mention the rest of the hacks we've done, but yeah, we have quite some fun up there. He asks if we block any ports on the tabletop switches to solve the problem with people running DHCP servers and the like. And no, we can't do that because the Sixel switches does not have support for DHCP snooping, so that is not a possibility. However, if someone does run a DHCP server, it will only affect the switch they are connected to. It will not propagate out to the rest of the network. So we send tech support down, they disconnect all the cables and figure out who it is quite fast. So it isn't a problem. Other than that, the only ports we've blocked internally in the network is the file sharing port from Microsoft File Sharing, because a lot of people share their whole C drive, and suddenly they have an autoexec.bat with some format command in next time they reboot, which causes lots of pain. And some viruses are blocked, some viruses, and we have blocked SMTP out of the ship, not to spam the rest of the world too much. So that's just about the limitations we have in the network. We haven't had lots of incoming attacks at all. We've been quite lucky. So I really can't answer on that one. I've been here since 05, and we haven't had an incoming attack since then. So, okay, we had a DDoS. Apparently, I was sleeping. So, if anyone wants to talk about it, board? No. Come down here.
Hello. We have a great connectivity to Parentele. So if someone does something ugly to us, we can announce our little part of our network as a sinkhole, and the DDoS is terminated somewhere else. We don't get it. Easy.
Basically what we do, if we want to take it in some simpler terms, if someone attacks your IP address, we can tell our internet service provider that all traffic destined for him, don't send it to us. Just drop it before it comes to the ship. Which of course means that this guy won't be online, but it also means that all the other guys in here will be online. So it's quite an easy sacrifice. And we can change his IP if we're fortunate enough to be glad to help him. Anything else? He asked if there will be gigabit table switches. We're working on it. It's a challenge to get 220 or 250 new switches. If you can get them for 1,000 kroners or something, that's still a lot of money, a lot of money, but we're working on it. And as soon as we get gigabit to the users, we need to have at least 2 gigabit from the tabletop switches into the core network, making the core network double as expensive, and so on and so on and so on. But we're working on it. But I think the 100 megabits should be fine. What are you doing here? Aren't you playing games? The home pictures and the Linux distros. That's great, great. Anyone else? In our log, we have a wiki in which we log some things, and one of the highlights of the year is the first one to come down to the info desk complaining that his PC is running Ubuntu suddenly. It's a funny story that the tech server has set up PXE booting, which is booting from the network. So you get Ubuntu directly from the network if your PC is set up to handle it. So when people reinstall Windows, a PC is often set up to boot from CD, then PXE, then hard drive. So they put in the CD, they install Windows, they reboot, and up comes Ubuntu. And of course they, oh well, I'll just reinstall again, something went wrong. So they reinstall once again, and damn it, that Ubuntu is back. So they go down to the info desk and they ask, and tech support calls us up, and we have a great laugh, of course. So, but the PXE boot is quite cool. You should try it out. When you boot up your PC, you often get a question if you want to, where you want to boot. Often it's F12 or something to PXE boot. Try it out. It's really cool. I think it's Google Ubuntu this time. No, oh, it isn't. Okay, it's ordinary Ubuntu. Yeah, and when you've booted up from PXE, you can install it on your hard drive. But be careful. It will erase your hard drive when you install it. Yeah, running it isn't the problem. Yeah, so the point is, you can boot it, it won't harm your computer unless you start clicking on the install buttons. So try it out, it's great. Any more questions? No, well, then I'm done. Thank you for attending.